doing now?
Yeah, that would be good.
I'm gonna go in here and I'm gonna do an alcohol wash. And you know, it's funny because when I go to sleep at night now, I start dreaming about alcohol washes because I've done so many in the past couple days.
So what kind of frame are you looking for to take your sample from?
I am looking for a frame that has a lot of young bees on it. And so though it could be a frame of pollen. It kind of depends on the condition of the hive as well. But you can find a lot of young bees on a frame of pollen, a frame of open brood where they're feeding larvae, or you can actually find them on, sometimes you'll find a big frame of like half emerged brood, and that'll have a lot of your young bees on it. I'm not sure about this hive. All right, so I like to put the pan on top of the hive so any other bees that fall will go back into the hive and not all over the ground where I'll step on them. I got it. So I'm going to do that. Put it aside. And you ideally want 300 bees, and you got to just shake them to the bottom.
So because this is a 1/4 cup measurement, she's going to take 2 scoops, 2 full scoops, put them into the alcohol.
Another thing is a good thing to do if you have a big yard and you're doing a lot of hives at once, save yourself some time and just make a little killing jar. And then you label the name. I reuse these. And then later on, once you've gotten all your samples, you line them up and then you go through and you check.
Right. This is the same system we use at home too, because now you don't have to go through each hive.
I got the idea from you.
Each hive, do the shake. You know, your hives are open a lot longer than they would be. This way you can get all your samples taken at once, then retreat in your garage where it's cool. You can sit in front of a fan with a drink, do all your shaking then. It's a lot nicer than doing all the shaking actually in the yard.
Oh, so that frame went. I know. All right. I know.
And why don't you button this hive up and she can finish the shake so we can conclude this.
Alright, so then, let's see, I'm going to do Leslie because that was a hive with a lot more open brood and nurse bees, so.
Right.
You just shake it up.
So Cindy has this fancy Varroa Easy Check, which has the little basket that you can use to pull the dead bees out. It's a little different than how I do it, but essentially the system is the same. So
you dump the bees in. Check the bottom of your jar to make sure that there are no stray Varroa.
Yeah, and she's checking the cap too.
Do not do this anywhere near an open hive. Bad things will happen. And then you need a lot of alcohol for this as well to get it good and washed. But I'll rewash it a couple of times, especially if I get a, no, what are you doing? I'll rewash more if I get a low count than if I get a high count.
Right.
All right.
So that container she has the built-in strainer, so just by holding it at an angle, she can see any mites that have fallen off the bees at this point.
They did it. I don't know if we are or not.
Alright, and then you'll see at the bottom we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
I'm not sure we can see that at this angle, but so she counted 9 in that. So 9 in 300 bees is a 3% infestation rate, which is at the recommended treatment level.
So we will be treating this hive very soon.
So because you are already over the threshold, you wouldn't reshake those a second time
No,
to get a
I'm
more
already over the
accurate.
threshold,
Right.
so
If you had seen 1 or 2 mites,
I would rewash and shake. I would probably be sitting there for a good like five minutes trying to get every last mite from
Right.
there, just to be sure. But from what I've seen, you usually know pretty quickly that if you need to treat. If they have a lot of mites, they just kind of fall right to the bottom.
right. So if you don't have this easy check tool with the built-in strainer, what you can do is after you have your bees in the jar here, you just put a piece of screen over the cover, pour them into a preferably like a white container, like a white dish tub or like a white bowl. It'll strain out the bees, the alcohol will come out, and you just count the mites floating in there, which is easy to do in a white container because, you know, the adult female mites are going to be that dark red color. And again, if you get a low count, you can strain that water back into the jar, reshake them, count them again. So you don't need that easy check tool.
No, you just need, what is the number mesh that you put on?
I believe it's
hospitalization
8 mesh,
Eight mesh.
so it's
If you,
eight squares per inch.
Yeah, and you know, all of this is on the Honeybee Health Coalition website. Lots of really good videos there. So
Absolutely.
if we're unsure, go there because that's where we get all our information.
Absolutely.
And our bees are doing well.
Right. And this today is the second day of the week-long statewide mite check. So we hope all our members are going to take the opportunity, test your hive, send that information in. This can give us some great info on what our mite levels are in hives right now, and if this is the time we should be treating. You know, because the whole goal of this is to treat less. So if we can determine when our mite levels are high, we can determine when the best time to treat is, and hopefully treat once or twice a year instead of 3 or 4 times a year. That's it. Thanks.